OTAs officially kicked off today down at the Novacare complex, but there's one man who was confirmed as absent, and that player is Malcolm Jenkins, the veteran safety who's played in a whopping 98.4% of snaps since arriving in Philadelphia back in 2014, hasn't given a reason for his absence, but Doug Peterson doesn't seem to be too concerned either. However, OTA absences, as we commonly know by now, are typically linked with players trying to gain leverage for a contract extension. Not that Jenkins needs it though. After playing in 99% of snaps last year, he's become the heartbeat of the Eagles defense. Not only was he a key figure during the team's Super Bowl run, but in a 2018 season where the entire secondary fell to pieces, Jenkins was the glue that kept a very young group of backups together. 97 tackles last year were the most since his 109 racked up in 2015, but matching a career high in forced fumbles and notching 8 tackles for a loss still don't do that year justice. Playing down inside the box, Jenkins has become an elite run defender, as well as someone who can match up against tight ends and slot receivers without fluttering an eyelid. Playing down inside the box, Jenkins has become an elite run defender, as well as someone who can match up against tight ends and slot receivers without fluttering an eyelid. It's really not hard to make the case for extending Jenkins. He's now the 10th highest paid safety in the NFL after an offseason of big bucks being spent at the position, and he plays well beyond that rank. But that's earning $8.1 million in 2019, which means if the Eagles were to pay Jenkins the money he deserves, he could be set to earn close to double that amount. And if that's the case, then the team would maybe, just maybe, have enough to get Jenkins and Wentz on the books for long-term deals, depending on the nitty-gritty of said negotiation. Malcolm Jenkins has already restructured his deal once, which means he could just want the guaranteed money up front, and that is where the decision between extending Carson Wentz now or later is going to be so important. If the Eagles are ever going to cash in on the value of Carson Wentz, it's now. Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson and Jared Goff are all destined to receive a hefty payday soon, and even though the Eagles did pick up their quarterback's 5th-year option, keeping him for 2 more years at least, it could be digging a deeper hole if Wentz is allowed to go out next year and ball, therefore raising his value. Right now, the Eagles have leverage over Wentz given the fact he suffered back-to-back season-ending injuries, but the state of the Eagles right now means Wentz is going to be fully healthy for OTAs, have a full off-season with Mike Groh and all of his new offensive weaponry, and if we're to believe that Wentz truly can tap into that 2017 form once again, he could be set to take the NFL by storm, leaving the Eagles with a much taller price to pay 1 year from now. The Chris Long retirement gives the Eagles around $27 million of cap space on their books, so there is a chance that both players can get on long-term deals this offseason, but it's slim. If this OTA holdout is to do with contract extensions, then who do you go for? Can you afford to give Malcolm Jenkins nearly double what he's earning now, taking $8 million off of that total and leaving the Eagles with a shade under $20 million to devote to Carson Wentz? Or do you go for the franchise quarterback, cash in on the value, and risk making Malcolm Jenkins unhappy, although he's under contract for 2 more years? It's an interesting discussion. Let me know what you guys would do down below. Again, this is hypothetical. Jenkins may be perfectly content and just not see the value in coming down into OTAs as a 31-year-old who plays nearly every single snap possible. But if you had to choose between Wentz and Jenkins this offseason, which one do you go for? I firmly believe that both players will remain in Philadelphia for the next few years. It just comes down to who gets the deal up front as opposed to a little bit later. From myself, Liam Jenkins, you can follow me at LiamJenkins21 or follow Philly Sports Network at Philadelphia SN. And don't forget, you can get your daily dose of Philadelphia sports content at phillysportsnetwork.com.